on to the analyst desk. We are about to watch SK Gaming versus Mad, and SK Gaming, they are rather staring down elimination from playoffs, and they face a very tough challenge today against the reigning champions in Mad Lions. For SK, yeah, the water is up to here. They are about to drown, unfortunately, so they need to start winning games. They have only won 2 so far, and they only have 7 games left. I'm just going to look at the strength of schedule, so the teams that they're facing in the next 4. Mad right now, then Excel, G2, and Fnatic in their next 4 games, Cadril. Oof.
Yeah, oof. And especially when 8 wins doesn't even make you into playoffs. Talking from experience here, 8 wins is not a magic number, it's 9, and they have 2 wins already. So maths just tells me that they have to win every single game if they want to be guaranteed into playoffs. Worst case, with 6 wins, they're going to go into a tiebreaker. But still, you want to feel comfortable, and right now, it's looking grim.
It's looking dire, and honestly, I don't think that much has been working for SK Gaming. They did get 1 win last week. The boss, now that it's so necessary for them to really start winning games, I think we have to go to you and ask for kind of your expertise out of the depths of solo queue. What kind of strats can they start using if they really need to get this best of 1 wins?
You're that desperate to go to me for
yes.
tips. Yeah, I mean, she says that's my area of expertise.
Yeah.
And Kato was talking a little bit like one-trick picks.
Yeah.
Talking to me with Katarina, Malzar.
Talon.
Yeah, Talon.
Is that really the way to go?
Well, what do you think?
I don't think it would be bad, you know, catching them off guard a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit more about one special strategy, and that would be proxy farming.
Okay, I love proxy farming. Now, we saw a lot of proxy farming before, but just talking about these champions, quick hit. They are solo queue champions. They're very difficult to pull off. They lose the lane phase, and we'll see what happens with those picks. If they do opt into it, they're very high in solo queue, but this is proxy farming. This is what you want to talk about.
Right, right. Now, proxy farming, you farm between the turrets, and you just kind of trading farm with your opponent. And enemy jungler gets so frustrated because they're scared. Why is he so far up, you know? But yeah, I remember this one game, Worlds quarterfinals versus top esports. Fnatic is playing. Whippo pulls out the Singed, and he starts proxying. And well, they won that game.
They won that game. We don't talk about the rest of that series.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about the rest of that series, but I think the point stands to an extent where you have pressure in a lane, right? If you have losing lanes, proxy farming basically can enable like a Singed or a Sion. Basically means you have to send resources there if you want to shut it down, or the lane phase is nullified, which can always help SK in a sense, right? There's lots of different cheese strategies you can go for. Obviously, we're kind of going at an arm's length here to go to the extremities of how to win a best of 1. I think cheese is definitely where it is. I think there's many different types of cheese. We talked about one tricks, which are like high volatile champions, where if they can get some random kills out of nowhere, then there's a chance that they can just pop off and carry the game alone, but they'll struggle in lane phase. We talked about proxying. Also, level 1 invades, you know, all of these kind of things you can look for, you know, just level 1 invade, 5-man, take their buff. That's what happened to Treatz against Fnatic. He died, I believe he died, or he lost his buff, and he was just out of the game from there onwards.
Yeah, I think if we apply this to SK, and I know we're joking around just a little bit, but I do think when we look at kind of the profile of SK and what's going on, I took a look at kind of their early game and their lane performance specifically. Jenax seems to be the only one that's keeping his head above water, and not even like with flying colors. The rest of the lanes seem to just be going down without being able to keep up in CS, without being able to keep up in gold, and that is detrimental to them. So something that can get them going should work, but I guess the eternal question then is, do you invest in a level 1? If you know that you also have, I wouldn't say a 50% risk, but definitely a high percentage of risk that your whole early game gets squandered.
I mean, yeah, you're grasping at straws at that point, right? And I think that level 1s can kind of turn the tables in the early game, where I think SK, like we were just talking before the show, they're not roaming a lot, right? They're just sitting in their lane phases, they're trying to accrue CS leads, and that's about it. Not much cross-match, not much proactivity. Maybe that spark can actually ignite a fire, right? So if you get 1 lead on the jungle, maybe all of a sudden Treatz is ahead, and he's like, okay, now I know where the enemy jungle is, which makes it so Jenax can play more aggressive, or Blue can look for more roams, right? It's all a snowball effect in League of Legends. So I think if you can transfer any form of pressure or find any kind of leads and just grabs onto that and use that as your advantage, then it's always good. There's many different ways to do it, but we'll see what SK can do, because I think playing standard is not the idea right now.
No, unfortunately, because when we look at kind of the way SK have lost the games, when they have lost our games, unfortunately, and it's been many of them, they weren't able to do anything on the map, and that's unfortunate, because then you can't even find kind of a point of, okay, listen, this was working for us, the early game pressure or whatnot. No, nothing was working. In terms of if they do want to explore something like these strategies, like the proxy farming and whatnot, what do you do as an enemy team to counter that? Because you've had a lot of experience with it, but I'm sure it's not, it can't just be a free strat, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously counterplay to every strategy in the game. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be a strategy. And well, the enemy team has a lot of options, right? Well, let's take this proxy farming, for example. So they could get the free kill on the top lane. It's isolated. They send their jungler, maybe their mid laner, pick up the free kill. But then it's up to SK to kind of work as a team and counter that. Pick up a dragon, gank bot lane, and you know, SK is statistically the worst team. So I really think going for some kind of cheese strategy is their play to maybe get a win.
Yeah, it's the snowball effect, right? It's a good death, you know, get something on the other side of the map. I'm drawing pressure, the enemy team comes up, try to do something somewhere else. These are very minute strategies, which are very champion dependent. You know, Sion and Singed, obviously well known for these kind of strategies. But cheese could be the aim of the game. I don't know, SK, I think playing standard is really going to be difficult for them to beat a team like Mad Lions, who are one of the best teams in the league.
No, absolutely for Mad Lions. They are already on stage now, so let's see what happens. SK definitely have their work cut out for them versus the champions, but we'll see if they can secure a win.
Statistically, the worst team, and I'm not sure whether or not the players will be able to be picked up on our microphones, but the Mad Lions are loud, are excitable, are having fun. Actually, it made me really happy because as they were taking to the stage, so were SK, and everybody was greeting each other. So good to see you, welcome back, welcome to the stage. It was good feelings. Unfortunately for SK, the only 2 games they've ever won is when I was casting with Trouble, and I don't see Trouble here. So odds are not in their favor.
So the difficult thing for SK is, we mentioned it, well, throughout the day, 9 wins is normally enough to get you into playoffs. Not quite, not always perfect, but 9 wins is normally enough.
How many wins do they have now?
They currently have 2.
Okay.
So they need 7 more wins of, I believe, 8 remaining games.
5.
Maybe
is
less
that
than
2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games?
No, they have 8 remaining games.
Oh, they're playing this one, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 today, 2 next week, and 3.
So
why are we doing math? We should have
they
planned
need-
this. We should have planned
my
this.
point is, right, that getting to playoffs for them
Yes.
is a run of sorts that we will not name. But it's going to be extremely difficult. And I think that when you're kind of at death's door, I agree with what the analysts were saying. Just flip it. Just stop caring, you know what I mean? Just kind of like, what have you got to lose at this point? You may as well just do whatever you can to at the very least try and get some wins on the board.
But it's so important to recognize if they do, if SK decide to flip it and throw some unique approaches or do something unexpected, they could be heartbreakers for everyone else near the top of the table. Mad Lions, of course, they come in today, the 7 wins, 4 losses. Last weekend was the first time that they went 2-0 throughout summer, and they are ramping up as we head towards playoffs. And in a game where you have, let's say, you know, 3rd statistically or 3rd on the standings, but definitely one of the best teams here in Europe in summer, you actually expect them to have a strong performance against SK.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Is Ziggs meta now, by the way? Because are we 3 for 3 on ban?
Didn't you watch the Flexia segment where he was talking about Flexplosions?
Yeah, but I try not to listen that closely because he doesn't sound that smart all the time.
I mean, clearly he's very smart.
Let me
Clearly.
rephrase this.
Look how smart he
Is Ziggs this level of ban worthy?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Well, I think it's just a number of changes. He got buffed a little bit, and then also
The champion pool
mage
elsewhere on the map.
items.
Yeah.
Mage items were made cheaper, and his siege is like really OP because he just destroys towers. He's really safe in lane. He just kind of does everything. He's also a flex pick. Again, you know, Flexplosions, you know, the whole thing. So, yeah, he's good.
Lexus is overrated as far as I'm concerned. Gwen and Viego are not. Both are still open. Both are available for selection. Thresh engine's out. Diana, Ziggs, Viego, Gwen, the last one standing. The last time these 2 teams played, Elyoya played Rumble. Mad Lions destroyed SK in 31 minutes. And Elyoya's Rumble just melted SK everywhere they went. They lived inside SK's jungle. In particular, Treatz had a difficult time. So one of his earlier games on stage. There's Gwen in the ban pool.
So, Lucian is a big pick that is up and available right now. We've seen a lot of Aphelios priority, but I don't think it's going to be first picked. Lee Sin is also up and available, which is something that Treatz has been going to a lot recently. Jenax actually going to first pick Mundo. That is...
Sorry, that was a little too real. But I actually said to Vedius coming into today, I just find comps built with a Mundo in them so boring to watch. And it's first picked, but, okay, hold on. We wanted a surprise, right?
This isn't a surprise. This is just Mundo. I don't think Mundo really does a lot. I think that Mundo is like very safe in lane. I think that it can scale really well. I think it can do pretty well in the side lane. But like, in terms of teamfight value, I've seen him be ignored more than I've seen him have impact. So personally, I'm still hesitant to be bought into the Mundo. I think it can make sense into certain comps, but you first picked it. So unless they have some creative plan with this Mundo, perhaps it's Mundo jungle, maybe it is Mundo support. There were some buffs to Mundo jungle, I believe, on 11.5 that made his jungle clear a little bit better. Yeah, maybe there's something that we don't know yet that we'll have to wait and see. In any case, Mad Lions will pick themselves aggression. Kalista, Lee Sin, that should get the other game going.
I'll hold my breath to see where this Mundo and SK comp go. Huge shout out to SK Mad Lions playing with the Scion Hovers. And that Kalista, been banned 2 games this time around, will land into Carzzy's hands. Carzzy's currently the Kalista player in Europe that, when I think of Kalista, I think of him more than a lot of bot laners.
Really?
I just remember.
Over Hans?
I really do. And I also just remember the performance they had against G2. And now we'll see what's going to get paired with him. It's going to be a Tristana Leona on the other side. Alistair is available. Thresh is in the ban pool.
It's probably Nautilus, but I think it should be Alistair. That's my opinion.
He's going to be going for solo laner instead. So Humanoid will lock in his LeBlanc. That will be the first time that we've seen that in summer for him.
So, it's a very strong mid-jungle combo from Humanoid and Elyoya. There are very few things that can stop a LeBlanc, I believe, on the current patch. There are definitely a couple things, depending on how skilled you are as an individual, but we'll have to wait and see whether or not Blue has anything in his back pocket. For now, in terms of early aggression, Mad Lions is all about that. SK have a little bit more of a scaling teamfight comp with what they've got 2 very powerful frontliners in Leona and Mundo, with Tristana being a long-range hyper carry that can be a lane that you look to play through, and is also a pretty solid matchup into the Kalista, depending on what support gets paired up with it.
What would need to happen for you to see the Mundo either jungle or top? Like, can you reveal that now?
I would need a top laner to be locked in, Trevor, and then that would... Okay.
Woo, somebody's playful today. Okay, well, let's wait to see what SK lock in as Twisted Fate and Braum are removed from the pool. That Lucian, unpicked, unbanned thus far. Obviously not high priority now, just highlighting it. And SK can remove at least 1 more support, which is about Alistair or Nautilus being one of them. Actually, that Lucian will be banned out.
Yeah, I think Lucian is one of the few that can go toe-to-toe with LeBlanc, mainly because while LeBlanc does have strong burst in lane and a very powerful rotation, Lucian can deal damage with his auto attack. So in the cooldown windows, Lucian can be hyper aggressive and LeBlanc has to be a lot more respectful. So good ban. With the Braum removed and the Wukong also taken off the board, I like Alistair. I think Alistair's really good into Leona. I also think that it's just good engagement. Maybe they don't think Alistair's great into Tristana. So I wonder if he's just going to go for the Nautilus instead. But I do think that Leona's pretty good in Nautilus.
We're going to find out. I mean, Kaiser's champion pool this summer, he's played 6 games of Leona and then 1 for Braum, Karma, Galio, Nautilus, Alistair, and it will be the Nautilus locked in. His 2nd time played, lost his 1st time around. And now I get to have the question answered of what top laner or jungler is secured here for SK and what they're actually planning or trying to do with this Mundo, because much like Vedius, and much why I had a really, really honest sigh earlier on, I do tend to feel that Mundos just get ignored, the rest of the team gets killed, and then he's the last one standing.
That's not a top laner, by the way.
No, those mids, Jason LeBlanc, thanks for...
They need AP right now. They need AP. But if they do need AP, then I wouldn't be surprised to see something like...
Lilia in the jungle.
Rise is kind of speaking to me right now.
Ooh, let's see. What direction do they go?
Syndra, also good, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Mundo jungle. Syndra mid, Jace top, Mundo jungle. That explains the first pick, because they wanted to lock in their jungler early. I have never seen a new Mundo jungle. So this will be learning for me, because I honestly don't know how strong he is or really how he functions. I imagine that his clear speed is still very fast. And again, he did receive some buffs on this patch to his jungle clear. I believe he does a little bit more damage to monsters now. I'm just trying to check what skill specifically it was. It was his E. His E now does more bonus damage to monsters, so his clear speed is that much faster. Okay, cool. So yeah, SK Gaming's comp is... Well, I really like their initial core of the Mundo, Tristana, Leona, because it kind of had that strong front line, reliable back line, I understand why they've picked Syndra. Does have single really strong burst damage. And I think against the Kalista, it's actually pretty prevalent. Your E can actually be very good against champions like Lee Sin, LeBlanc, and Kalista. And the amount of burst potential that you have onto a Kalista is very real as well. Jace is the slightly weird one for me and like where it fits into this composition. Of course, Jace is still just generally a very strong top side of the map. But yeah, I think that their comp is a little bit more on the scaling side. They're a little bit more about team fighting later on, whereas Mad is all about early game. They want to try and use their very strong mid jungle. They have put the Lee Sin top lane, but even paired with the Volibear, LeBlanc volley is still very powerful, and I imagine that they're going to look to use that mid prio to play towards bot, try and get Carzzy ahead, and then look to snowball this game. So it's very much about, can SK weather the storm? Can they get to the late game fights? Can they hold on? Or will Mad simply take over the game?
Can Mundo actually have an impact? We'll find out. Armut's first game on Lee Sin this summer. It'll be the third one for Elyoya. It's SK taking on the Mad Lions.
Moment before we jump onto the Rift, because I have Mac with me and I want to ask about the Mundo pick. First pick from SK. Did you expect it to go in the jungle, and how does this champion work actually? Vedius was asking also.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty sure that it was going to go jungle when they first picked it. We've seen some Mundo flex this week, so it wasn't exactly a big surprise. It's a champ that requires a lot of like priority and CC from his lanes, right? Because obviously he has no setup himself, and normally he works better against teams with like limited CC, I would say. I think SK's done a pretty decent job of pairing him up with the Syndra, pairing him up with the Leona to make sure that he has CC and engage. At the moment, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure how strong the champion is, so I guess we'll see.
Well, let's find out. Back to the Rift.
See, sometimes I get self-conscious about things that like, oh man, I don't know this, and as a caster I feel like I should, and then you talk to a pro player and I'll never forget. I've asked so many pro players about certain champions like, wait, that's a thing? And it always makes me laugh. Yeah, so Mundo, jungle. It's going to be a learning experience for everyone here on the Rift today, especially me and Mac. I loved his point about strong setup in lanes. It's a really valid point for many junglers that don't have a huge amount of CC themselves, that they are reliant on setup, which suggests to me that Treatz is not looking for really any top lane ganks because Jenax doesn't really have a lot of setup, and that also suggests that in his pathing. We'll be starting towards top side, pathing towards bot, and that gives him options to play through mid or bot lane, as Elyoya is doing the opposite on his side of the jungle.
If you'd added a little bit more, like if you look outside the western side of the airplane, you'll be able to see this, this, and this. You had that tone on your delivery and setup.
When you have Business Mundo on the field, it is important that you replicate. I've gone far too, I don't even know what this accent is.
I'm not sure either, but it was a good attempt. I quite like that. When Mundo actually starts putting down his ultimate and fighting, I'd like you to take over the play-by-play. Kaiser and Carzzy shoving this way forward.
Level 2.
Able to pick up level 2 very early on. Dredge line will pull backwards onto Jezu. Tower shot traded onto Kaiser, and giving a little worse for wear.
He messed up the combo there, Carzzy. Not only did he proc the rend on Jezu, but he also didn't kill the minion either. So,
washed up.
Nul point for Carzzy.
Not at all.
Sorry, I should never do my French accent. Law gets extremely upset every time I do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her. It's an awful accent.
People say that, but I studied French for a really long time.
It doesn't show. So, man, like, continue to put pressure down. And I'm going to go back to what Mac was saying as well as yourself.
Tell me.
We don't know how strong this Mundo is, and I am interested to see how it works. I'm a little more excited that it's paired with this Jace and this Syndra. The first wave starting to be cleared out, but again, the pressure's here on SK.
Junglers. Let's have a look. So Syndra actually got the early prio in this 1v1 in mid. So that is usually what you expect. Junglers now in bot lane. CC lands.
There's the rocket jump forward. Kaiser gets the boop down. Carzzy trying to use that martial poise to best effect. Elyoya is coming in from the river. That's a defensive flash as well as the Spider-Man pull. Treatz gets first blood. Well done, Dr. Mundo. Teleport will channel and complete. Here comes Armut looking for the Sonic Wave. Counter teleport coming as well. Now Carzzy's going to get taken down. It's a double kill to Mundo. Now it's turned around as Armut manages to get one back. More teleports complete. 2-1 SK.
Everyone is bot lane. All of the TPs were used, and SK actually come out ahead in the early game. As you rightly said, well played, Mundo. Treatz really stuck onto Carzzy, made sure that the re-engage was not as successful as Mad wanted it to be. and they end up drawing first blood. So ultimately here, the Volibear is not in a position to cover for the lane that is very pushed up. Mad couldn't get this wave underneath the tower, so they get engaged on. Early sums used from Carzzy, but then at this point Mad saying, hey, SK is overcommitted, and Treatz has even burnt his flash. But Lilipp gets in the way of Armut, prevents them from collapsing, and Elyoya and Armut, I think, make a mistake not collapsing onto Carzzy, because if he gets that rend off, that's easy kill onto Treatz, but because he gets left alone in the 1v1, remember he had 2 levels over Carzzy, it ends up allowing him to secure another kill. So, bit of a blunder there from Mad as SK get out to an early lead.
Do you get the feeling that many people in the bottom lane weren't quite sure how much damage Mundo could have done? Like, you know, let's not help out. 2-1 to Treatz in this bottom lane. Teleports blown across the rift. Summoners as well. Jezu's got his flash available to him. With a very interesting start. It's a small advantage here to SK. And honestly, on a champion like Mundo that can be hugely impactful and be unkillable, this is a good place to be.
You know, it's interesting. So I have this... I had this thing that I used to call the Victor effect, right?
Okay.
So when Victor was first released, a lot of people didn't like him. And they didn't understand what he did. The current Victor, for the record, is not what old Victor used to be, right? He used to have this weird passive where you bought an item and it changed your abilities, whatever, right? So what I would do is when I played Victor, people were confused and didn't understand what you were doing or how this champion actually works. And we've even heard comms from pros saying, what does this champ do? How am I supposed to play against this? And I'm not saying that that's what the comms were, but that could have very well been a situation where Elyoya and Armut were like, hey, Carzzy's got that. I don't need to go and help him.
Yeah.
And then they realized, oh wait, no, yeah, exactly.
Did not have that.
So yeah, it's a fun. I used to call that the Victor effect, but I should probably find a new name for it now.
I think it would be a bit like the theory's really good, but I think you can make it a lot more condescending and offensive. You know, the ignorance effect, the unawareness. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think the Gwen effect is good, where you think you win and then you don't.
That works too. Well, Lilipp step forward, get caught out by the dredge line. Support is here from Treatz. Checks out his fancy briefcase and steps away. It's going to be enough to dissuade the re-engage. Now, Lilipp has been a little bit of a breath of fresh air here for Jezu as well as SK. I think every game I've seen him play, he's very bold. He's very willing to jump into the faces of his enemies. This time it didn't pay off or get punished, but definitely a man to keep your eyes on as this game plays out. And Humanoid, we've not seen Humanoid Blue other than the TP, just farming as you would expect in this mid lane, both getting level 6, so burst damage is now available to you.
Very slight CS lead right now, but it's not going to mean a lot at the moment. Blue clears out this wave. He tried to set up a freeze, but I wasn't really a fan of it because the wave was just a little too big. I think he needed to thin it out a little bit more if he really wanted to set up a good freeze, because the problem for him now is that it's hard for him to rotate round to assist with this Drake. But perhaps an opportunity for Lilipp. Lilipp hasn't been spotted yet.
Very, very cheeky. Scout of the week doesn't find the stun, but the Zenith Blade just might. Flash is available. Predicts it! Lilipp, you beauty. Treatz gets the kill. It will be a dragon secured for the Mad Lions, but very nicely done.
Yeah, very nicely done from Lilipp. He did predict the flash, and they're able to get a big kill onto Humanoid. And now they're looking to answer back. Hook lands.
Edge line will be a dead blue. Easy hop, skip, and a jump. That just feels bad. That animation is so broad.
Nautilus mechanic.
So broad.
It's like, you know, you curve the bullet, man. It's a Nautilus mechanic.
I like that, yeah. Angelina Jolie here. Kaiser chucking out those dredge lines.
Bends the anchor.
Does bend the anchor. It is kill secured by Carzzy's Kalista. Very valuable for Mad Lions. Jezu will be able to pick up at least one plate as Lilipp clears out the ward. And it's still advantage here to SK. Again, I want to commend the fact that they were the ones that roamed. Were able to jump on and punish Humanoid in the mid lane. But it's Treatz that's the recipient of all of the gold so far. It's a good place to be for SK, a team that has had like okay-ish early games.
Do you remember last split at all?
Oh, this is going to be scary.
Okay, do you remember Tinks when he played Jungle Mundo?
Yes.
Do you remember in that one fight where he got a quadra kill?
Yeah.
Do you remember the result of that game?
I do. Schalke won the game.
So when you sit there and say that this 3-0 Mundo, yeah, I'll believe that that is good when I see it.
Okay,
but,
okay. Ever the pessimist. I mean, to be fair, we both were starting this one up, right?
It's just one of those things where, like, a fed tank, you know, I think I'd rather have my Tristana be 3-0 rather than the Mundo.
Yep, I agree with that.
But, you know, I'm not going to count the chickens before they've hatched.
Drop a book on its head. Is that the other? Is that the other?
I wish I knew more Norwegian sayings from Evan.
We'll see whether or not SK can put some more butter on the fat with additional kills. They've still got
that's the
1,000 gold up. Yeah, I've definitely completely butchered it and misused it. But the reason I do think it is very important here for SK, remember the only 2 wins they've picked up happened in the last couple of weeks, but the likelihood of playoffs is very, very slim.
And you were right, by the way. They have 7 games left, including this one.
I know I was. I didn't want to make fun of it.
I know, it's
but
fine.
I appreciate
Math isn't my strong suit.
it.
But that means that this game is so much more important, you know, because for those that don't know, 7 plus 2 is 9, and 9 is the minimum that people normally qualify on. So if you can't get 9, then, well, 9 is even a rough.
That's rough,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? 9 isn't even guaranteed. Just usually, if you have 9, you generally make it to playoffs. But yeah, it's a very difficult road, and SK need to find a win here. They're in a great spot right now. The Mundo is in a very powerful position, has completed his first major item, which will be the Frostfire Gauntlet, keeping pace with Elyoya in terms of farm. And overall, SK is continuing to scale. Remember what we said in terms of win cons? Mad want to try and dominate the early game. They have a very powerful mid-jungle 2 versus 2. They have a bot lane that they want to try and snowball through. They have a solid, reliable top half of the map that they don't need to invest many resources in. But the reality is that the longer the game goes, they're going to get outscaled. Tristana is going to be a hyper carry. He has a really strong front line that he can that the Tristana can play around. The Syndra is going to make it difficult for champions like LeBlanc to be able to dive in, and then in the side lane, Jezu is going to be a huge threat and can also itemize magic resistance.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's going to be difficult as the re-engage now comes out.
Dun, dun, dun. Kaiser's in trouble. No, Lilipp is in trouble. Forced to flash away to safety. Kaiser down to half HP. Jezu's making his way forward. Blue flashes out. Scared of the weak. It's not going to be used just yet. That's a double stun. Touches the minion as well. Nobody dead just yet. Solar Flare not going to be enough. Carzzy escapes with his life. Forced to use all summoners. And Blue TP'd in for that as well.
Yeah, so SK reclaim a little bit more control over the bot side of the map. And you can see how hard it is for Carzzy to really find advantages in the early game. More gold just continues to go into Jezu's back pocket.
Oh man, Kaiser and Elyoya are going to try clear this wave out. While that's going on, teleports in the top lane, big trade. Rift Herald is used. Treatz will be donating some of this gold over. Jezu, flash available to him, no buster shot. And the tower's going to fall. Vedi, I'm kind of liking SK's proactiveness here.
Let's not forget that SK, this split, have actually not been the worst at getting early game advantages. Where the real weakness comes from is their ability to convert it into a win. TP from Humanoids.
Oh, Jenax, very good shock blast in the face to the skies. Hammer comes out, knocks back Armut. Pick the right clone, Jenax. Not going to be able to find it just yet. The shock blast, not going to be enough. Humanoid gets the kill. I believed for the briefest of moments.
So, Mad answer back with a kill of their own. Still 1.5k gold down after losing that bot tower. And now SK can actually swap their bot lane up towards the top side of the map. Keep Jenax in the bot lane where there is no tower, but crucially, keep the Kalista down. While Carzzy does have a slight level advantage, the gold definitely not in their favor, and Jezu is just going to continue to be the recipient of so many resources. SK in a good position right now. They just need to maintain this trajectory and not overforce any plays.
Well, keep your eyes on Lilipp. He'll be the man that'll start so many of them. Hex flashed over, trying to dance around Vision quite a lot, actually. It's been a pleasure to watch how he's moving around the Rift, trying to avoid as many wards as possible. And while the duo in the top lane is now going to be joined by Treatz, multiple members of the Mad Lions are converging. Elyoya is being left alone on that dragon for now, and it doesn't look like the tower pressure will play out. So Mad Lions, 2 dragons, they're still down 1,000 gold, but starting to stack towards that soul, starting to stack towards that big team fight.
They certainly are. Ult comes through, the stun gonna land as well. I think the clone blocked the slow, but the flash.
Yeah, it really did. Treatz not going to be able to find the kill just yet. While that's going on in 2v2 on the top lane, Armut's going to join the fray. Solar Flare comes out, stunned, locked down onto Carzzy. He can't find the Rend. Lilipp's able to escape with his life. The CC stun lock managed to make it so. Not done yet as SK are throwing Treatz as well as Blue towards the top lane. No flash, no ulti though. All of a sudden, now Jenax is in trouble. Here comes Elyoya. We'll be able to take a big bite out of Jenax. Humanoid jumping in as well. There's more potential for combat in the top lane as Humanoid picks up his second kill of the game. And the tower is under pressure. It's an interesting passage of play here, Mr.
Yeah,
A.
it is a little weird, I will be honest. Mad are being spread a little thin right now as while they do answer the bot lane play, the wave was pushed all the way underneath the tower, so Blue is able to push in mid, get himself a little bit of gold, bit of extra farm as well.
The way this game's playing out is not at all how I was expecting it, nor is it with the jungle Mundo. So I'm going to ask you and everyone at home, do you think SK will win this game? Spam in chat, yes or no. I didn't get to do my last vote check-in, so I'll be able to check it in a little bit of time. SK, 1,000 gold up. SK, I'd like to say being more proactive, shall we say, looking to initiate plays, move around the map, but it's been a little messy. So that's why Mad Lions have got multiple kills, and the cross maps are in Mad's favor.
If I'm SK, I am, in the wise words of the Baus, chillin'.
Chillin'.
You know? Because I have a better scaling comp.
It means chilling. Oh! It literally just dawned. I didn't understand why everyone was like, we're shilling, because when you say we're shilling, it means you're selling things. That's the word.
No,
it means chilling.
It's because of his accent. You know, sometimes he says, you know.
I got those
Very
letters.
cool.
I understood those letters, but I didn't understand that sh was CH. Thank you. So SK or shilling?
SK a shillin'. Yep. Of course, I don't have a Swedish accent, so I don't do it as cool as he does. But the idea is that SK is comfortable right now. They but the fans.
Yep.
So, oh my word. I'm like, okay guys, so SK have a better scaling comp, and they're like, yup. SK have a 1k gold lead. Yup. SK have a really strong front line, and while they're down in Drakes, they can set up for the next, and like everything is going well.
Strong engage, strong
So by
line,
that logic, you think that they can win, right? Absolutely not. It's that Patrick meme. It's literally that Patrick meme with the card and the... Oh man, poor SK.
78% of the votes do not think that SK can. We're 2 minutes away from the next Dragon fight. Rift Herald's up, and we're looking to set up. So Vedius, how do you think this fight will play out?
Well, admittedly, this sets me up for my next point. I think that Mad is one of, if not the best team-fighting team in the league. So even if they have a composition that is relying on getting ahead in the early game, they still find ways of coming out ahead in 5v5 fights. And that is ultimately what won them last split.
Oh man, look at the stun. The CC, the dash is forward. Now all of a sudden Lilipp gets pulled back. This will stop the Rift Herald. There is support coming from Jenax in the mid lane. Rift Herald now 2,000 HP. Mad Lions fancying a shot. Carzzy's making his way forward, and even though he's not going to be able to find any more CC, SK brute force their way onto the second Rift Herald. Fans at home, you were voting no. Yep. SK have got another tool in their kit.
To be able to break down this mid tower, which could be crucial for them. Humanoid didn't have his flash available, but was forced to disengage. Kaiser did lose his flash. And that was all because Humanoid was sitting in a brush that he thought was safe. And I don't even think there was any vision in there. But Lilipp went for the engage and the follow-up. Blue would have gotten that kill had it not been for the fact that Humanoid's passive procced and Blue couldn't actually get a target. So good stuff there from SK. They get themselves the Herald and they find themselves still at a gold deficit.
45 seconds to Dragon. Lilipp is already moving into the river. Got a couple of control wards in his inventory. There's not many members of Mad around because Mad have been very good at cross-mapping. Every time there is some pressure or some movement elsewhere, Mad picked up 2 dragons. Jenax has tried to clear out as many of these minions as possible. He's got teleport available to him. And there's already a TP into the mid lane here from Blue, while Treatz and Lilipp are pushing vision into Mad Lions. We're setting up for a dragon fight.
Yep, but I think that Mad is so late to the play that they're not really going to be able to contest it because they decided to make the cross map happen. They got themselves their first tower of the game, and as a result of that, SK have stolen away the blue. And I think that actually Elyoya did exactly the same thing on the other side. So pretty much just a trade across the boards. SK going to push in one more wave in mid, convert that into another objective as they also drop the Herald. So clean stuff overall from SK, and it only really costs them a tower.
I'm going to try this really quickly. So Mad Lions are now chilling, right?
No, they're not. Mad Lions are stressed.
Okay, they're stressed. Okay.
Because again, their composition is very much about using early leads to then snowball, right? And again, when you kind of look at front-to-back team fights, I think that SK's comp is just better at it. Because, like, let's play a scenario out in your head, right? Humanoid tries to dash in, gets slapped by a Syndra E. Carzzy tries to get close, gets hit by a Syndra ultimate. If you're not getting hit by one of those, you're getting hit by either a Mundo or you're getting hit by a Leona, which means that you're reliant on finding a flank if you're Humanoid. So what do you do if you're SK? Well, you ward your flanks. And so like you can now start to see how much harder it becomes for Mad to actually find a successful fight. And on top of that, Tristana, the reason why Tristana outscales Kalista is, well, number one, Kalista really sucks generally against tanks. She can build a lot of Ren stacks, which doesn't inherently do a lot of damage. The opposite is true for Tristana. Tristana only gets more range as the game progresses. You're going to be building Infinity Edge as a third item. You're going to be hitting people really hard with a literal cannon in your hands. So, yeah, that's why I think SK scale better.
The thing is, while everything you said is 100% true, you also have to look at the people piloting said champions and the expertise and the experience, you know.
Yeah, I know. We can say it, Trevor. SK has grief this split, okay? It's not
the support role.
You can just be honest, Quickshot. You can just say it.
Can you not throw me under the bus right now?
I mean, you literally said it. Let's also think about the people piloting it, okay? So
I was going to be more elegant here. And Vedius, I'm going to ask you to answer that question. Do you think SK can win this?
I mean, as an analyst, I think that they're in a great position right now, and they are in the winning position. That is my analytical opinion.
I want you then to keep tracking vision here for me, right? Let's look at warding the flanks to prevent Humanoid and Armut trying to set anything up, right? Because, of course, if Jezu or Blue go down, things get a little bit scarier. This mid-outer turret was still standing.
I'm very upset right now.
Yep, disappointing play all around. And of course, we are getting now to Baron in a moment. 2 towers to 1. 3 minutes till the next dragon. And Lilipp so far leading the way when it does come to warding, when it comes to initiations. For SK, it's now deliver, right? Show that you can actually win some of these mid-game team fights, set yourself up for success, where they have faltered, because like you said, they have actually had a track record of picking up advantages, or at least being competitive during the early game.
Treatz in the first half of the split was actually one of the best early game junglers in the league. It was kind of nuts. But then they could never really convert that into actual wins. They always made huge blunders when it came to the mid-game. They are going to start this Baron. There are 0 wards and 4 members of MAD are in the bot lane. I think MAD is actually making a huge mistake right now. They must know, they have to know that something is going on.
Getting a little too late to this one. Humanoid stepping all the way forward, chucks out the chains, 3,000 HP, dashes backwards to the clone. Baron is secured. Production not ready for this, but I'm going to need to ask, can SK win this game? I'm going to be asking chat, yes or no. We'll be able to run that in a moment or two. Lilipp is going to be able to find the engage, survives long enough for Blue to arrive. Teleport now brings Armut to the fray. Dragon's Rage, Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike. Lilipp escapes with his life, but for how long? Sound the alarms. It's the sound of the police as Elyoya is making his way to the bottom lane. Has the Stormbringer available to him, and SK have escaped. Fate's Call is used, a multi-man stun prevents further follow-up, and that is exactly what Vedius has been talking about over and over again, the power of Syndra. Flash, hit him with the briefcase, Treatz. Mad Lion's now running away. This is the longest fight of nothing happening I've ever cast. Press R, and it is Treatz that picks up the kill onto Humanoid. Elyoya gets tagged by the Bone Claw, flashes over the wall. Treatz chucks it on the briefcase, and it's SK they get the kill. They get the Baron that maintain control.
That was just a massive, massive mistake from Mads. They committed 4 members to the bot side of the map. They had absolutely no respect of the possibility of SK being able to do that Baron, and so they just gave it away completely for free. And then they tried to find a team fight immediately afterwards, and then lo and behold, they couldn't get an engage because of exactly what we were talking about earlier. So yeah, let's have a look back. So the Baron drops. You can see all this vision invested towards the bot side of the map. The TP comes through from the Lee Sin. They're trying to find themselves a pick. But then a good flash out from Lilipp, and the support from the team then comes to assist him, and they try to walk him out. Tristana has reset on the map, and ultimately SK is like, let's not fight until the Tristana comes. 3-man stun.
So good.
Exactly what the Syndra does in this composition, and then Carzzy realizes, uh-oh, I am not in a good position right now. And then the chase comes down. Mundo very good at chasing champions. Humanoid, 1-shot. Yeah, so there you go.
I can't believe Treatz has picked up all of the kills on SK. 4-1 on the Stockton window. And SK Gaming, they've got a 1,000 gold lead. Spam in chat. Will SK win this game? Yes or no? I got a funny feeling that it's going to happen. And SK,
I mean, again, I said before that they were in a winning position. If you don't believe me now.
It's just when a team is 2-9 versus 7-4 after the performance Mad Lions had last weekend, right?
Yeah.
Shock Blast is coming up. Baron empowered minions. Humanoid's got teleport available, but he's pushing the top lane. Mad Lions are now being pushed further and further back. Vedius, the inhibitor turrets are now being pressured.
Yep.
And SK Gaming are in a very, very good position.
Correct. I agree.
Would you like to contribute more to the story?
I think you summed up the story very well. I like that Mad aren't really committing to a fight because they know that they're not strong enough to fight right now, especially into that giant stack of minions. So they're just trying to trade on the other side of the map. The good news for Mad is that they secured 2 Drakes early, so they're not really in any danger of a soul point right now. The biggest problem for Mad is that they're only going to continue to get outscaled. While the gold gap isn't that big right now, it actually is very big. So I don't think they really have any champions that can kill Mundo. Like, Kalista can't kill him, LeBlanc can't kill him, and maybe Lee Sin could kill him, but I don't think he could kill him yet, and I also don't think that he could kill him. Maybe he could kill him with this build. 57% of you still say no.
Oh, but again, it's a 10th place team. You can understand this. And I think Mundo being first pick, and the way we set that up a little bit, maybe myself especially, it leaves you with doubts. You still have to get over the final hurdle. The Baron is now timed out. It's 2 dragons apiece. I think we're going to be in for a few more long team fights. And as long as Blue and Jezu can land the skill shots and the damage like they did, SK are in a good spot.
Banshee's Veil on Syndra as well. I love that. Anyone playing against LeBlanc would recommend. I think it's a really good item. Banshee's now coming out for Humanoid. Never really what you want to see as a second item on a LeBlanc. Very defensive. I understand why he's doing it, because Syndra E-stun is very annoying. But yeah, a lot of props needs to go to SK. They're playing this early game well. They have good control. They had themselves the Baron. While the goal gap isn't that big, trust me, it's bigger than it looks.
Yeah, the ceiling, the room for growth, right? The thing I want to quickly highlight again is the standings, because not only is SK poised in a position to push this, right, and let's live in the world where they win the game. At 3 and 9, they also put the Mad Lions at 7 and 5. So not only does it make that 6th place a little bit more believable, but it hurts Mad Lions in terms of, season endings and championship points. Now, Jenax is going to be flashing over the wall. Jezu finds Elyoya with the help of Lilipp. Solar Flare locks him down. Teleport completes from Blue. Armut's the next target. He's scattered by Weak. There's not an ultimate just yet. Jenax running for his life. Blue as well as Jezu will be able to run him down. Armut's just hunting for Jenax. Shock Blast connects. Now Armut starts to peel away. The rest of the Mad Lions just trying to challenge Vision. Armut gets a hammer to the head. Skelebeak doesn't find its target, and for the first time, we see a kill there secured by Jezu. Blue got the previous one, and that gold lead's gonna, or the impact of the items and the scaling is gonna be more prevalent as time goes on.
I'm telling you, there's no way the Mad win this game. That's just no way. I can't see how they do it. I just can't. Mundo will never die. I think that the disengage, even if like this is a really good example actually. So they try to engage onto Jenax, and obviously he flashes in this situation, but he also has his E. Then the re-engage from SK is just so strong. Like, Mad can't just stay clumped together because they just lose the straight up front to back. And while the idea is good here from Mad, they're trying to find a pick onto Jenax so they can create a 4v5 situation, convert it into one fight. The second things go wrong, everyone immediately has to disengage. So yeah, I just, with the comps, like, SK big brain. Mundo first pick.
I can't believe it worked out. I apologize, Treatz and SK. I threw Mundo under the bus, but you guys had game
in our
plans?
defense, we sat there and said we weren't sure. Okay.
Oh, I was way more negative.
I mean, well, so obviously at the very start of the draft, we were a little skeptical around whether or not Mundo was going to be played, because I thought it was Mundo top. That was my first instinct, right? Which is why I was so critical initially. But then we did discuss it. We did explore. Maybe it's in the jungle. Maybe it's better than we thought. Maybe the buffs actually made a big difference. And we then openly said that we didn't know how strong it is. And when you kind of look at the comp that they're playing it, admittedly though, this is more Mad Lions' fault because they then picked everything into the Mundo. But then it comes back to what Mac was saying, where like, okay, he's probably learned a valuable lesson here, which is that when you see a Mundo in the jungle, perhaps you need a hyper carry to deal with it.
And also combo that with the fact that the very first sequence of plays was that bottom lane team fight where Treatz got a double kill, right? Where Mad Lions could have potentially focused down Treatz's Mundo and didn't. And of course, Mundo was able to play through the race. Now, I don't want to discount the rest of the moves by Blue, Jezu, and Lilipp in particular again. I think he has been one of the influential players across the Rift, top, middle, starting all of the fights here. And now SK, Baron is up, 40 seconds till the next dragon. It's a 3,000 gold lead. Vision had been established inside Mad Lions jungle, so Mad Lions have to puncture the darkness. Scatter the Weak actually didn't catch Kaiser. Doesn't look like it really mattered. He literally waddles away to safety. And that was a lot of burst damage, and how difficult it is for Mad to regain footing in their own jungle.
Yep. Armut is sitting on a ward right now. Look at Lilipp's flank position. Blue will lose his Ooh, hang on. Good damage.
So much damage. Elyoya needs to use the Stormbringer defensively. Fate's Call as well as Flash from Carzzy. They'll re-engage. Is there enough damage? They'll keep your eyes on Treatz. Remains relatively unscathed. Defensively backing away. SK pick up a kill onto Kaiser. Humanoids jumping in with those sigils and not going to find the damage. Baron has been stopped though.
Best team fighting team in the LEC. Mad is nuts. I don't even know how they found that fight, but like, the wombo combo that they just got off there was ridiculous. The fact that they didn't get more kills is what surprises me, but all the summoners are just gone. Blue flash, Jezu flash, Lilipp flash, they immediately had to disengage, and that fight should not have gone like that. And I know a lot of you are going to sit there and criticize SK, but that was actually just so insane from Mad, how they were able to pull that whole thing off.
55% of the fans at home do not think SK will win this game.
So just watch Carzzy and Kaiser here. These are the two I really want you to pay attention to, and then Armut. So first of all, right, Kaiser's basically going to get stunned up. Carzzy pulls him back into a 3-man knockup, and then watch Armut here. Q into, I think it's a flash kick, and then the LeBlanc comes in and does huge AoE damage. And they just don't quite have enough. Carzzy sidesteps all the skill shots as well, and then they get this kill. Like, that was so crazy that they were able to do that.
SK Gaming have been promoted to Platinum Frequent Flyer status for the amount of airtime Mad Lions donated, but ultimately, with the composition they have, with the lead that they have, taking advantage of the timing, Mad Lions committed to Dragon number 3.
Yeah.
They picked that up, and on the recall, SK punished that timing window by securing Baron for themselves.
Yeah. Well, we got a game. It's one of those things where, like, on paper, this game is in the bag for SK. It's really hard for them to lose because you have to, like, the criticism I would give SK was the fact that Jezu jumped into melee range thinking that Carzzy was just dead, and he completely forgot about the Fate's Call and what it could do. So the fact that he then got knocked up and chain CC'd and then bursted by Humanoid and the rest of Mad Lions is where I think that initial mistake came from. But the fact that Mad were able to respond so well, like, that's the thing. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So it's still, this game could go either way.
I give you a chance to change your vote because you're not allowed to say it could go either way because you said there's no way
I think SK still win this game.
Right, that's what I wanted to check. And it's up to SK to execute, right? If they make the mistakes, then it can go all right. Now, Mad Lions did show the ability to fight. Shock Blast catches out Carzzy. Dredge line will land onto one. Solar Flare goes forward. So does Lilipp. Scatter the weak. Holds Carzzy in place. He's already dead. Jezu will get the respin. He hops out to safety. That's the second kill. Traded back just for Jenax. The inhibitor will fall as Humanoid's running for his life. He's already flashed to safety. And Treatz is just waddling into the base. He manages to take down Humanoid, and this could be the final push. 50-second death time as they're on the Nexus towards SK. They're going to do it.
SK are looking to upset the apple cart. They will take down the LEC champions and make their way to stand a chance at playoffs.
Naysayers be damned! SK take down the Mad Lions. It was a weird and wonderful game, but it doesn't matter because it's a win for SK. Let it be known that all 3 SK Gaming wins were with Quickshot at the helm. And while we thought trouble may have been the good luck charm, it is in fact me.
Okay, somehow you've made this about you when SK, well, it's still really hard.
So difficult.
Remember that generally 9 wins is the number that you need in order to make playoffs. That's not always the case. That is not a dead set rule. It is generally what happens.
3 and 9.
They need to win basically the rest of their games. 9-9 is the goal, and getting a win over Mad is the beginning. And props, the first pick Mundo was big brain. The fact that they flexed the jungle, the fact that Mad then picks LeBlanc, Kalista into it.
Yeah.
Well, I have learned something very valuable today. You need a hyper carry when dealing with Mundo. I didn't think a Mundo could 1v9. Turns out Mundo can 1v9.
It can indeed. Here, player of the game votes at LEC on Twitter. Treatz, Blue, and Lilipp. Mad Lions are now 7 and 5 on the standings. G2 Esports 6 and 5. You have Schalke and SK at 3 and 9 apiece. Like, this bottom of the table is going to be very, very crazy as we continue to play out games for the rest of summer. And if you want to have a shot at high seeding for championship points looking at playoffs, you cannot afford to drop games like this for a team like Mad Lions. This
very true.
could be very influential in 3 weeks' time.
Who does Mad play tomorrow? Do you know?
Oh, we'll find out for you right now. Mad Lions play Vitality tomorrow. Then next week they play Astralis and Rogue.
The reason why I bring that up is because Mad always go 1-1. So sorry, Vitality, unlucky.
Also, if they lose to Vitality, all of a sudden Mad Lions are one step closer to that battle for 6th.
Potentially.
Right? Because Vitality is in the race there.
Don't say it, Quickshot.
Okay, I'll have you know, the scriptwriter made me say this. Is this the start of the miracle run? For more, let's send it over to Law with Treatz, who I apologize. Mundo was awesome. I kind of flamed
OP.
it. Well played.
Thanks, Quickshot, and thanks for the apology. We'll touch on the Mundo pick a bit later, but to follow up on what Quickshot was saying, is it the miracle run for SK now? Do you feel like things are changing?
I mean, that's definitely what we're hoping for, right?
Yeah.
We had a slow start, but I think we're getting some momentum now, and the stage is helping us, so we're definitely aiming for the miracle run.
Yeah, tell me about the stage experience, because you also have young players who never played on stage like this. So how are you helping them? Can you feel that something is different? Yeah, how is it helping you?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, especially for Lilipp, I think he's really excited to play on stage. I think everyone is excited to play on stage, and it feels really natural for all of us. So I don't really think we're thinking too much like, oh, we're rookies, so we can't play on stage. We're just having fun on stage in general.
You were telling me before the interview that this game was fun. What made it fun specifically?
I mean, I was playing Mundo and I got early kills and I was unkillable, so it was kind of fun from that perspective. And other than that, I think we just had a good comp scaling, and it felt great to play. Yeah.
Yeah, the casters were mentioning the fact that you had a good scaling here in this composition.
Yep.
So were you worried at some point that Mad could?
No, I think in general we gave them like maybe one too many dragons in early game, so we kind of had to have that in the back of our minds. But other than that, it was kind of smooth sailing. I think we just had to make sure we get some barons and get some towers, and we did. So yeah.
Right, well, talk me through the Mundo pick now, because Mac was telling me that it's something that he's seen in scrims, especially. Why the pick, why the champion, and why is it so good?
I mean, first of all, it's a flex, right? Top jungle, so I think it has a lot of power there. And in general, it's just a really annoying champ to play against because of the CC block. So if they don't have a lot of CC, I can just run around and do my thing, like this game, for example. So it's just overall strong and a flex pick, so it makes it a good pick overall.
Now, last question for you. You won against Mad, a top team, the spring champions, actually. Does it mean anything special to you to realize you're able to beat these kind of teams now?
No, I think Mad just play worse against us. We always win against them almost, so yeah.
Wow, so comfort win here.
Yeah.
For SK. Well, Treatz, thank you for the interview. Congrats on taking them down today.
Thank you.
And good luck tomorrow. And we're going to take a last one break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Astralis versus Fnatic, playing the 4th game. See you soon.
Last split was kind of sad, the way it ended. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm putting in the work and it's paying off. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be on the top of my form.
Him in the Hexic ultimatum, and you saw Markoon diving in, but perhaps you didn't know Vedius. Fnatic, that was beautiful.
I think versus Fnatic we have like more chances. So if we get like a little bit luck, a little bit good draft, Fnatic is like an easier opponent than Rock, for sure.
Is he going to take the game right out of Misfit's grasp? He's almost killed off VTO. Here comes Vanda. Magic Felix still doing it. The Solar Flare gets the stun, but Magic Felix takes the win.
Come on, be a man about it. You won't die. I ain't got no more tears to cry, and I can't take this no more. You know I gotta let it go. And you know I'm out of love. Set me free and let me out this misery. Just show me the way to get my life again.
Aimbot. Yes, good.
Tipping both, they're tipping both.
Someone has to base.
We can end maybe, no?
Yeah, but I can defend. Silence the center. Akali is recalling him. You have 8 seconds. I will run at him. Akali is going to base. Akali is not the base.
Magic Felix is in the base! Can he do it? Magic Faker with the back door!
Nice, Felix. You can win. And then you can win the Felix. You got this.
I'm coming. Go in. I'm coming through Akali.
Magic Felix, is he going to take the game right out of Misfit's grasp? He's almost killed off VTO. Here comes Vander. Magic Felix still doing it. The Solar Flare gets the stun. Magic Felix takes the win.
What an ending to Misfits versus Astralis. I am actually going to take a little bit of time to break down some of the decisions that went into that. Just before I do, though, the player of the game from our previous matchup was Treatz with 64% of the vote. I humbly bow to your superior Mundo jungle, but also think Mad Lions disrespected the damage a little bit in the bottom lane. Very quickly, before I jump into the play, I want to take a look at the standings for a brief moment and highlight the fact that with the fact Mad Lions just lost, as well as XL, when you look at the race for playoffs, Astralis, Vitality, XL, Schalke, and SK with 2 wins separating them. It's going to be a very tight race for that 6th and final playoff spot. That's if you assume that all 5 of our top of the table teams already secure them. We'll keep you updated with the changes to playoffs as they happen. Now, the ending to Misfits and Astralis was incredible. I wanted to break down some of the factors that led to that Magi Felix backdoor play that you saw just a moment ago. So in preparation for this, Vedius schooled me, talked to me a lot of the decision making, some of the thoughts that went into it, and I get the honor of presenting it. We're 42 minutes into the game. And the first thing that I'd like to highlight, as soon as I can get my drawing tools activated, is that Misfits and Astralis are dead even. 42 minutes in, 77,000 gold. And leading up to this push, Misfits had won a team fight inside the river. Astralis, however, were able to pick up the soul. So as they continue to push through, Misfits commit for the fight. I'm going to pause very briefly right here, as my pause button is not working. If I could get some support from production, there we go. Oh no, this is why I don't do these things. All right, we'll pause that very briefly, and we'll back up just a little. As Misfits were trying to end the game, Astralis decided to push for the win. We'll actually try this pause properly this time around. And keep your eyes on Vander and Cobby. They're going to blow everything, right? All they engage around this inhibits the turret, while Astralis will then decide to commit for the fight. As Vander and Cobby blow all of their abilities, VTO, Hirit, and Razork are chunked down and they're forced away from the fight. These are the abilities that I was talking about just a moment ago. With no Solar Flare, with Misfits split up, Jessica decides to push in for the fight. Now keep your eyes, as all of a sudden Cobby is shut down, and with half the damage removed, Astralis now start to focus out. Vander can do absolutely nothing, no abilities anyway. Razork out of position, and we will see both Hirit and VTO putting damage back, and Jessica crucially gets insta-gib. As we look at the timer here for Magi Felix, you'll see that the observers are going to start zooming out, and at this exact point in time, Astralis have 2 options available to them. Magi Felix can either join the team fight and see how much he can help to figure out what will happen in those 3 seconds though. Will the rest of his team get destroyed? Or can he go for the backdoor play? Now again, I want you to keep your eyes on how Hirit with the stolen Tristana is going to start dealing damage, and very importantly, Promiscu immediately starts to push onto Vander. As I roll the clip out, you'll notice that the teleport is channeled, the comms and the communication are 100% clear from Astralis. Go for the backdoor, interrupt the recalls, and stop them at all costs. As I pause the play here, White Knight will start instantly beelining for the rest of the Misfit members. Now, if you were watching Rewind and you heard the calls, they were communicating it, they were talking about it. As this plays out now, we'll turn our attention over to Magi Felix. And Magi Felix starts to hammer down the Nexus turret. And this is where an interesting question is posed. Could Misfits have won the game if they just pushed mid? If they left MagiFelix alone to apply pressure on the Nexus, could Misfits have won? We'll never know that answer because the call was to return, to try to stop MagiFelix, to prevent him. Now, crucially, as this plays out in slow motion, MagiFelix will dodge 2 skill shots there from Vetiyo, preventing all the damage. And notice, just as he gets chunked down by the 5-point shuriken, how much damage MagiFelix takes. Had he not avoided those abilities, he may have been taken out. Vanda was unable to stop him, and ultimately, once you see Misfits pushing onto the Nexus, it ends up being a MagiFelix win. Take a brief seconds to celebrate MagiFelix. It was called MagiFaker just moments before Magipeki, if you're an old enough player. Fantastic stats, fantastic performance. It keeps Astralis' hopes alive. A little bit of a shaky start to that segment, but hopefully we close that out well. And we'll see if Astralis can continue their successes as they take on Fnatic after the break. That pause button didn't work for me. It really didn't. No, it's all on me.